There's a lot of stuff we got cut out too that we didn't shoot, like the final hell demon version of Jason, or the parasite that's in him. It grows into the demon. We never shot that, but we built it. And but I think it was fun because we also had like weird little parasites, and they were all mechanical, and we had to make it look like it was coming out of his mouth, cover up the wires and all that, you know.
What's up, everybody? Ryan from JoBlo.com coming to you from Crystal Lake Nightmares, a convention in Los Angeles that celebrates 45 years of Friday the 13th. I'm here to talk to your favorite final girls, victims, and slashers about their time at Camp Blood. Along the way, we're going to get some cool behind-the-scenes stories and their thoughts on the legacy of this beloved horror franchise 45 years later. So let's ignore the warnings of the locals and take a trip back to Camp Crystal Lake. The Friday series isn't your only foray into horror, of course, having appeared in X-Files to Supernatural. What attracts you as a performer to the world of horror?
A paycheck, man. What the hell do you think attracts any actor? I'm not fond of any particular genre. Shit, I am fond of rent. You know what I'm saying? Gas bill, light bill, phone bill, insurance. Yeah. No, it's just, it's been my lot, that's all. I've been lucky. I've been blessed to be a part of these franchises. You know, like you said, X-Files, Supernatural, Friday the 13th. These are huge.
Sure.
They're huge, very iconic, very big fan base. So I just feel fortunate to be part of it.
And we love your performances. Now, speaking of Jason Goes to Hell, how did you first get involved with the project? What was your audition process like?
Oh, I think someone offered me the part. I'm not real sure. This was early on in my career. And if I remember correctly, the part was offered me. Because I remember a little caveat. They had the character said, remember Columbo? That's what the character looked like. When they presented the character to me, that's what he looked like. And I had the nerve to say, I'm sure it was offered, because I remember having the nerve to say, all right, listen, I'll do this role, but I want to play him as a cowboy.
Absolutely.
Because he was a bounty hunter, right? And I own the coat. The coat that I wear in there is Creighton Duke is mine. And I tried to steal that hat 5 times. They got the hat for me. I tried to take it 5 times, but I couldn't get it. So yeah, I was offered the role. Yeah, I remember that now. And they let me do it. They let me transform him into this cowboy instead of this, Columbo, frumpy kind of character.
Absolutely. Now, in the film, there's a lot of lore hinted at about your character. Did you and the filmmakers ever discuss the history or motivations behind Duke?
Even as we speak, I understand Adam Marcus, he's behind me. Adam Marcus is my director. Adam has written a script, from what I understand. I've not read it yet. Don't know if we're gonna get it made. Don't know if I'm gonna live long enough. Be too old. But he's written a script that's dealing totally with Creighton Duke's background.
No kidding.
Creighton Duke is the entire star of the movie, and it's about Creighton Duke's entire history. So I would love to do that. Because this man is a bounty hunter, he hunts monsters. So it's sort of like my role on Supernatural, in a sense. Because I'm a hunter on Supernatural that hunts demons and stuff,
We would love to see a separate movie for Duke. That'd be so cool.
Wouldn't it be cool? Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool?
All our fans are watching
Better
this.
get it done quick.
Put in the comments, let's get this movie done.
Right.
How much stunt work did you yourself get to be a part of in the film?
I didn't have very much stunt work. My character didn't have very much stunt work at all. What did I do? I think I fell down a hole. I got a rebar punch through my leg.
Wrestle Jason at the end?
Oh yeah, wrestle Jason. There was a scene I wanted. I think we did one take while he's hugging me, breaking my back. I kiss him dead in the mouth and tell him I'll see you in hell. I don't think we kept that though. I don't even know if I got to do it.
Sign off.
But it's always been a part of the movie I remember that in my head. Like, I did it in my head, whether I did it in a take or not, I don't know, but I did it in my head. See you in hell.
Love it.
You know? Yeah, we had a couple of, you read the book. There is a book out called The Memoirs, Crystal Lake. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Big table?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, read the little comments that Adam Marcus makes about me relative to a little bit of stunt work, running apparatus through my legs and me not wearing any underclothes, and the makeup girls and the wardrobe people having to deal with that. He got a couple of cute little stories in there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, come on, man. It was, when did we shoot? What year was the movie? Anyway, it was an era of party time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so Adam mentions in the book that I would fall asleep between takes because I was partying so hard at night. But he also gave me the greatest compliment probably I've ever been given in my movie career. He said, Stephen would fall asleep between takes, but when I said action, I've never seen an actor more prepared, more knowledge about his character, and more ready to go to work for us. And that was like really cool. Really cool for him to say. Yeah, that's, you know, when I go to work, I want to have fun. You know, I do. And I'm having the most fun when I'm working. This acting thing is probably keeps me alive now. You know, yeah.
And you know, and we can tell when I see your performances, I can tell that you're enjoying yourself. Like the audience can feel that vibe, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear
your performances.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Did you base your performance of Duke on anyone in particular, or was that kind of all from your core?
Well, it was no. It just it was Adam's direction, the writing itself, the storyline. There were a few things, and I got the freedom to do some ad-libbing. That's what I love about, you know, certain directors. They give you the freedom. Like that scene in jail when I give this kid this information, and I break his finger. All that was ad-libbed. It was like,
No kidding.
Yeah. I mean, well, here's the thing that I was doing in my head.
Yeah.
When he came to the bar, when he came to the, you know, the cage, I wanted to give it some femininity, as if Creighton Duke was, hey, listen, give me your hand, you know, and then snap his fucking fingers viciously. So, you know, that shit was ad-libbed, and there was a couple other things ad-libbed, you know, small moments. But that's the joy of working with a director who will allow you to do that, and a fellow actor who responds to that.
And that's one of the best scenes too. The finger breaking gets, but this one's on the house. Now, if Creighton Duke was to hunt another horror icon besides Jason, who would you want him to face up against?
I don't know. The natural choice might be Michael Myers, you know, from Halloween. I would have loved, you know, the classic would be, not necessarily classic, but it would change the whole picture. To go after, what was his name? Hannibal?
Oh, yeah.
Hannibal Lecter? Oh, yeah. Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter against Creighton Duke. Woo!
I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be my choice.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, so would I.
And lastly, we're here celebrating 45 years of this franchise. What do you think gives Friday the 13th its staying power in our pop culture?
I don't know. Humans, for some reason, humans like horror. You know, I mean, you know, I'm going to tell you something. I have never seen an entire episode of The Walking Dead, for instance. One of the most popular shows on the planet. I have no idea why humans are so fascinated with death, with horror, with, you know, but that's what makes Friday the 13th a long-lasting franchise, is that humans are fascinated with horror, with what scares them, with mystery, with the monster, you know? So there we are, and I'm lucky enough to be a part of it.
Thanks for taking this time with me.
Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure meeting you, sir.
My pleasure.
And thank you for leaving my fingers intact. So few people can say that they have contributed to Freddy, Jason, Texas Chainsaw, Scream, Halloween. Looking back working across so many iconic series, which one pushed you the most creatively and why?
Ooh, creatively, huh? Probably the Nightmare on Elm Street ones gave us the ability to be more creative because they had the fantastic elements in it, or, you know, the other ones are more like straight slasher stuff. So, you know, it's like, okay, severed head, somebody gets split in half, whatever. But, well, and I will say this, though, Jason Goes to Hell, because it also had the fantasy, or, you know, the supernatural element. So, and there were some of the kills were like a little more elaborate, I think, than some, like full body splitting in half, naked girl, whatever. So that one probably was a little more challenging than, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street or not Nightmare, Michael Myers movie, you know. So yeah.
Is there a dream property you'd love to work on?
You mean of something that's already exists? No, I'd rather work on something original. That's why, like, when I get approached to do something, well, we have a new movie coming out that I took just because it was so fucked up. And it's coming out soon. I'll talk about it. It's coming out at TIFF. It's called Fuck My Son. It comes out at TIFF this year. It's a real cool, like, weird movie, and I gravitate towards some of those, like Tusk and, you know, John Dies at the End, or Bubba Hotep, where they're just so, the scripts are so out there that you're like, oh, this is, you know, got to do this.
I mean, you just kind of opened the door for me, because Tusk is one of my favorite under-the-radar horror movies. I got to talk about what went into building that suit, man. Could you kind of take us through that process? Sure.
That one was a really quick build. I can't even remember if it was like 6 weeks or something for all the stuff we had to do in that. It was challenging because it was a kind of a big monster suit, and the actor wasn't on, you know, standing like in the standard pose, you know, with this suit, like a monster suit. The challenge with that was trying to make something that was creepy and weird and horrifying at the same time. You know, Justin's emotions had to come through it. You had to feel sad for him. So, but, you know, Kevin was really cool because, you know, took us 1 or 2 sketches to get to where he was like, yeah, that's it, go with it, you know. And it was because he just said it, look, it's Texas Chainsaw, like stitched together, Leatherface, Walrus meets Frankenstein, you know what I mean? So, and instantly, you know, we had that secondhand connection. We're like, oh yeah, I get it, you know.
So kind of taking it back, what were some of your creative influences that inspired you to get into this field?
Oh God, well, I mean, I was a monster kid from the time I was little. I was always watching monster movies. So, you know, I grew up on the Hammer movies. I grew up on the Frankenstein, the Universal films, the giant monster movies, all of it. I absorbed all of it. And then once I started reading Famous Monsters of Filmland, I started in Fangoria, I started, you know, following makeup effects guys and their careers, and I just became like infatuated with it. And anytime I could read about them or how, you know, how they did things or whatever, and it just kind of inspired me to go, hey, there's actually an industry, you know, for this. Like, you know, you don't think about it when you're younger, but then you start reading about them and you're like, wow, these guys sculpt and paint and do all this stuff. And that's what I was doing as a kid. I was an artist. I was always drawing and painting and stuff. So,
do you remember the first time you saw an audience have a reaction to one of your creations?
No, I can't pinpoint it. There's a lot of them, but I can't pinpoint it. I mean, I guess you know what, one of the biggest reaction that would be later. It wouldn't be an early project, but it was like Misery when we broke the leg break, and when we were sitting in the audience for that, and they just went, holy shit, you know, and it was just impactful, and they were, you know.
I remember during COVID seeing Misery at a drive-in, and when that leg break happened, everyone was like laying on their horns because we couldn't scream.
Nice, that's perfect.
So you touched on Wishmaster, and I wanted to get into that. What was it like stepping behind the camera after years in effects?
You know, I had done so much on set prior to that I really felt fairly confident. I remember, and you know, no matter what, every time you step on a movie set, even like today, if I stepped on a movie that I've directed, after all these years, you still have that nauseous stomach thing going on the first day of set, and it usually takes you a day or two to get in a groove, and then you realize, okay, it's going to be okay. So, on that, I kind of surrounded myself with all my friends and people I'd worked with before, from Jacques Haken, the DP, to Harry Manfredini doing the score, and then, you know, Robert Englund and all my friends acting in it. So that was the support I had, you know, and it made me feel more comfortable. So
Fans have really come to love that film over the years. Kind of how do you feel about its cult following and kind of being embraced by the horror community?
I love it, actually. It's weird because we get a lot of calls about screenings. So we have a screening next week in Cleveland of it, and I'm doing a live Q&A, and we just did one last week in Tennessee. I don't know, it's coming up on the anniversary again, so everybody's like, hey, we want to do a screening of Wishmaster. Can you come out, It's great, and new generations finding the movie, it's cool.
And with this being a Friday the 13th celebration, I did want to touch a little bit on Jason Goes to Hell. Rather, what was your favorite effect to execute creatively during the process of making that?
It would be the girl getting split in half in the tent sequence, even though that was a kind of an add-on scene that we shot later. It was pretty challenging because we had to do it quickly and a full body cast. Nowadays you'd scan the body and 3D print it or whatever, but back then we had to cast her in that position. She's in that for an hour and a half, but that was my favorite effect in the film. But there's a lot of little things, I love when Andy melts, and Josh, the character Josh, and then there's a lot of stuff we got cut out too that we didn't shoot, like the final hell demon version of Jason, or the parasite that's in him. It grows into the demon. We never shot that, but we built it, and. But I think it was fun because we also had like weird little parasites, and they were all mechanical, and we had to make it look like it was coming out of his mouth, cover up the wires and all that, pre-CGI, So, and I think just the amount of stuff in it. And also, we couldn't have got a better shot than when we blew up Jason. And, that head spiraling, slow-mo, like blowing up in the air, it just happened that way. And it was perfect, So
I'm a practical effects nerd. I scream from the mountaintops about how important it is to have practical effects. But for those who may not know, what would you say what would you say practical effects brings to a production that digital just can't quite touch?
Well, tangibility. There's a tangible element on set for the actors as well, and there's a physical thing they can touch, and I feel the audience has that connection as well. So. That's for me, and there's nothing wrong with a happy mix in today's age, and there's things that we can't do. Can't make a dinosaur run down the street. You can obviously shoot the upper body and not show its legs. They've proven that, But I think a lot of it too comes for those big things. I mean, I think the last big monster that we did and K&B did was for the Faculty, and then after that, everything kind of went full CGI for anything that big, so it was kind of fun being able to do that at the time, that and the Violator or whatever, from Spawn. But yeah, you kind of it's kind of lost now, but there's a happy mix in the makeup world where, like you look at Game of Thrones or any of that, where it's the makeups are there, but there's a digital element sometimes to make them look even thinner or more rotted, and so it's kind of cool.
And lastly, we're here for the 45th anniversary of Friday the 13th. What do you think it is that gives Jason Voorhees his staying power in pop culture?
Oh, my God. Well, I'd have to say the mask for sure, which didn't even show up till 3. But I think once that mask, that became so iconic that you can't even do a Jason now without that mask. But I think it's also that it just, I saw the first 2 in the theater when I was in high school. And it was just such a rush with a packed house, everybody screaming, and everybody just enjoying, like, how are they going to one up themselves, with these kills. It's kind of twisted, but, but I think that's the thing. I mean, we went to see, like, what's the next way he's going to, what's the next kill going to be? And which is kind of like, Adam Green and Hatchet, same kind of thing. You're like, really want to see how these things go down,
So that's going to do it for me at Crystal Lake Nightmares. From JoBlo.com, I have been Ryan Coltrera. Stay safe out there, campers.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo remains an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.